Welcome to episode 3 of Bat Knit Crazy. Welcome to episode 3 of Bat Knit Crazy. I am Maggie and I will be your host. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, my hair is dark blue. Is this the color I wanted it to be? No. Is it entirely my fault that it's this color? Yes. Are we going to live with it until we can get it fixed without damaging my hair too much? Yes. So we're going to let that go without any further comment. I will also point out that this little guy right here is not stuck on. That was the one little adventure that I had on my one totally free day to myself in California, along with visiting some yarn shops that there are some acquisitions from, which we will get to a little bit later in the show. So that being said, I did already play some clips for you of my trip to California when I was working on this lovely friend, which is now a finished object. This is my What the Fluff that I completed. It has not actually been blocked yet. That's why the sleeves are kind of puckering out a little bit because the ends are a little bit looser bind off, and I just need to block it out a little bit to get the rest of the sleeve to relax. But honestly, I think it fits pretty much fine. I'm pretty happy with it. It is very warm. I completed this, let me open to my project page, in Dream in Color Smooshy with Cashmere in the color Fancy, and then Rowan Kidsilk Haze, which is a mohair silk blend held together. And I love it. It is super, super soft. It is very comfortable. However, in Omaha, Nebraska, in the US where I live, right now it is unseasonably warm. And this is a very warm sweater. So now that I have shown it to you and talked a little bit about it, I am going to do a quick change for the rest of this episode. Just a minute. Okay, this is much better. I already have the ceiling fan on in here. I don't want to crank it up too high because otherwise I think you might hear it. But it's warm, for real, you guys. It's warm. It's super windy outside, but it is really warm. And when I say really warm, it's not like summer warm, but it's like 70, low 70s outside Fahrenheit, which for the beginning of March, that's kind of crazy warm for around here. And this is a very warm sweater. This is my first project that I have done with a fingering weight and a mohair held double. Actually, my first completed project with mohair full stop. And I do love it. I really do love it. I like the pattern. I like the style. I like the fit. I did this in a size 4, which did not give me nearly as much ease as the pattern wanted, but I've determined that for garments, I don't generally want a lot of ease. Case in point, this sweater, which we have talked about before, that has way too much ease for me and is actually hanging there because we are going to frog this sweater today. So that's one of the things for you to look forward to. But I really enjoyed working on this. I really enjoyed the process of making it. I did get nervous, as you may recall, and I thought for sure I was going to run out of mohair. This is what I have left from my supply. So I had 4 skeins of the Dream in Color Smooshy with Cashmere. I do not have a scale up here, but I want to say this is honestly at least 3/4 of my last skein that is left over. Now, had I done this to the amount of ease that it wanted, I probably would have used up virtually all of this because it really wanted it to be much bigger than this, but I like the way it fits me, so I'm good with that. I did, however, order 2 balls of extra mohair, which, as you can see, I have 2 balls of mohair here. However, I will say this one I did break into. I added myself a little note. Oh, upside down. And as you might be able to see from the note, if you can actually read it, I used approximately 16 yards of this ball of mohair to be able to complete this sweater beyond the 4 balls, 4 or 5, 5 balls of mohair that I had. So if I had chosen to do, for example, the neckband just in this, I would not have needed to break into a ball of the mohair. I am glad that I ordered extra mohair this color. I like the color. I like the yarn itself. I'm sure I will use this, but it is about 230 yards for a full ball. So I have 230 on this one that's not touched, and I have like 214 on this one that has been. So did I need to do it? No, probably not. But I didn't know that. I wasn't sure, and I'd rather have some leftover yarn of this color that I can use for a different project than have to make the sleeves shorter or something. I actually really like the length of the sleeves on this. They're not quite as long as I thought they were going to be, but I do think they're long enough, and especially once I actually block this, it will stretch out a little bit. But I'm really happy with it. I'm happy with the fit. I'm happy with how soft it is, how comfortable it is. The only thing that I'm not super in love with is how warm it is, but that's just how mohair sweaters are because the mohair is such an open fiber that it really catches a lot of air, holds on to that, and then as your body warms up, it holds that warm air, and so they're very warm. I knew that going in. So I have no doubt that if I'm going to, an outdoor event, maybe a little later in the spring when we could get another cold snap, this would be sufficient, or maybe in the fall when it starts to cool down again, I will wear this, but I don't think I will be wearing this when I'm planning to be, just drape it. I don't think I will be wearing this too much if I'm going to be in an environment that's already warm. I do think it looks nice with my hair that's not the color I want it to be. I think it's all right. If we get in the light there a little bit, looks good. Looks good. It works. So overall, I am very happy. I would recommend the pattern. Very simple. I mean, it's a basic V-neck drop shoulder design, and it's basically just stockinette except for ribbing at the bottom and along the neck and the sleeves. So I had fun doing this project. Would I do it again? Probably not, but that's only because I don't like to do the same exact pattern multiple times. And I would recommend it, absolutely. There's just so many different things in the world that I want to knit. Why am I going to knit the same one over and over? But I'm very happy to have this as part of my wardrobe. It will get wear. It's just going to have to get wear at a time when temperature-wise it's going to be comfortable to wear something that is this warm. So that is my What the Fluff by Twin Stitches designs. And I'm very happy with that. And hopefully if it does cool down, I will wear that for a full episode at some point, because I would love to wear it at some point. I just don't want to be absolutely sweating my face off. So let's see what else. So that is the primary project that I was working on. Sorry, I'd like to have my feet tucked up under me, so I end up like standing up and doing weird movements. Sorry if that's distracting. I did finish, while I was on my trip, the Kitchenering together of the cowls that I was making for the ladies on my team, and they loved them. I do have a few pictures, but I'm not going to share them publicly just because I don't have all their permission to share their pictures, but they liked them and thought that they were very sweet and loved the little labels that said they were made by Maggie. So that was really fun. And then the other thing that I worked on my trip was The Shift by Andrea Mowry. This is the front of the pattern. And I talked about it a little bit before, that I was going to be working on it, and I showed some pictures of me working on it on the plane. These are the 3 colors that I am using, which if I go to my handy dandy notebook, I can tell you are from 29 Bridges Studio, which are from Maryland. They are DK weight, and they are merino, cashmere, and nylon. Very pretty. In Tahoe, Sea Glass, and Setter are the colors that I'm using. And I really like the way it is turning out. Sorry, my yarn is caught on my sheep stopper. Oh no! Come on, little sheepy, get out of there. So this is the progress that has been made so far, as everything is tangled on everything else. So really, I only worked on this on the plane. I worked on it a little bit in the hotel, but honestly, very, very little. This is mostly just from the plane. And mostly, honestly, from the plane trip there. On the plane trip back, there were some delays. I was exhausted. It had been a very, very long day that day and a very long week of peopling. I enjoy people in 1s and 2s and in relatively short increments. So being around 45 people basically all day, every day for a week was exhausting. And we will talk a little bit more about my Friday, which was my day to myself in California, in a little bit. But by the time Friday was over and it was time to get on the plane to go home, and then I had a total of about 3 hours of delays, I was not really up to knitting anything on the plane. I really just wanted to sleep because I was exhausted. So this is predominantly from the plane trip there. I am trying to decide, because we are getting more into spring, and shortly thereafter we will be getting into summer. And if you are not aware, in the Midwest, in the United States, where I live, summer is kind of brutal, and we tend to go from winter to summer and we don't tend to get a lot of spring. It almost feels like what we're getting right now is spring, even though it's still too early for it to really be spring. I was telling my husband the other day, I think this is probably my least favorite time of year because it looks like winter outside. Nothing is blooming. There's no leaves on anything. Everything looks very barren, but temperature-wise, it feels like it should be spring. But you can't actually like go outside and plant things because we could still get another round of winter coming in. And there's no leaves on the trees. There's no flowers outside. There's nothing. So this is not my favorite moment of the year. But I was thinking, you know, how much opportunity am I going to have to actually wear this before probably late October, November? I have a lot of time on this. And even though with 3 balls of yarn, it may not seem like a great travel knitting purse project, I didn't really find it hard to manage on the plane. I have a really great purse bag that I use when I travel, especially. I use it sometimes just as my purse, but I can put absolutely everything in creation in this purse. And I had no issue fitting these in a little project bag into my travel purse, and being able to wedge the pattern up under the seat in front of me. You know, the thing that comes down and holds the tray table up. I just wedged this up under that little latch, and I had my instructions in front of me and could just pull out whichever color I needed out of my bag. And I didn't find it to be difficult. So I'm thinking I might sort of put this on hold, or at least have it be a lower priority knit for me for a while. I will be going back to the UK in May to attend a conference, and then also to enjoy some time off while in the UK. And I'm thinking I might take this with me then, because it is a relatively small project. It gets bigger. It's not as small as like a pair of socks or something, but I'm not really a sock knitter. Not my thing. So I don't know. I think I'm going to hold off on actively working on this one for a while. So we're not gonna say it's languishing, because I am going to finish it. I'm looking forward to finishing it, but it's just going to be sort of on hold for a little bit. So I am going to put that in my Heidi West Designs bag that I talked about last time. I'm just going to pop it in here, and this can be the I am on hold basket, and I'm going to pop the pattern right in there with it so that it is all together whenever I am ready to go back to it. All right, so what else? Well, I guess let's talk some more about my day in California to myself. So my departing flight did not leave until quite late in the day, like late afternoon. I didn't want to just hang around in the hotel all day until it was time to leave for the airport. So I decided to go to the airport in the morning and pick up a rental car and drive myself to some yarn stores and see what mid to Southern California had to offer. Now, I didn't have a lot of time, so I had to be selective about how far I thought I could get and what stores to go to. And I'll be honest, in the area that I was in, there wasn't a huge variety of yarn stores, but I did find 2 that I went to and had a great time going to. The first one is called Knitter's Hideout, and it is in Riverside, California. And I went and had some big old fun at Knitter's Hideout. So let me take all this stuff out of the bag so that it's not as crinkly. And There are a few things that I got multiples of that I'm just going to pull out one to show you. Okay. Okay, so Knitter's Hideout, very cute little shop, and they had a bunch of stuff that I have never seen before, never heard of, was very excited to find, and I made sure I had room in my suitcase to cram in some yarn, and so all of these things got very crammed. But they seem to have come through relatively unscathed. So the only bit of spinning fiber that I got is this one that is 100% baby alpaca from LL Yarn Co., which apparently there's a story about Lorna's laces that got bought or something. I don't know, but there was a long story that the shop owner told me, and I will be honest, I don't remember it, but my guess is that it's at least some of the same people behind Lorna's Laces, which I guess doesn't exist anymore. They had a bunch of stuff from LL Yarn Co., but I think this is the only thing that I got, which is this beautiful spinning fiber that is just listed as being test color, so it doesn't actually have a name, but it's this lovely neutral color with purples, little bits of green, and I just thought it was so sweet. It will make a lovely skein when I get back to spinning. I do have a spinning wheel, and I enjoy spinning. I've been knitting so much that I haven't really spent a lot of time spinning recently, but I will. These things come in phases. There's sometimes when I just want to sit and spin on the wheel, and that's all I want to do, and other times when all I want to do is knit, and I'm in a knitting phase right now. But I know that the spinning phase will come back, so I have this little sweetie to play with. And then something else that is certainly not unique to this store at all is some Noro. I found this, my local yarn store that I visit, that I shop at, doesn't stock Noro. And I've had sort of mixed feelings in the past about Noro, just because I find a lot of it to seem like it would be very rustic. And I don't prefer that. But I did find this. This is their Silk Garden Sock Solo, which is like a sport weight. It's 300 meters to 100 grams. So, sport-ish. And the color of this is Morigushi, which is like this charcoal gray with little flecks of teal and pink and green, and I just think it's cool. And I think it will make a very pretty sweater of some kind. I have not decided what pattern I'm going to do with this, but I did get a sweater's quantity of it. I realize I could have gotten this anywhere, but I got it in California. I could have ordered it, but I saw it, they had enough, and I decided that I liked it. And let me say, it was a trial squishing everything into my suitcase, but I did it. The next thing is from a company, Blue Fiber Co. from Portland, Oregon. Blue Fiber Company, and I just loved this color so very much. It's called Lagoon. There was only one of them, but I did pick this up. I think it will work splendidly with other things, or maybe I will do a smaller accessory. This is 80% superwash merino and 20% cashmere, fingering weight 437 yards. I will probably put it with something else to do probably a sweater. Let's face it, I'm mostly into sweater knitting with few exceptions, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. So it's going to go on the shelf over there behind the sweater that's going to be frogged, and I will see when the moment strikes me to figure out what I want to do with this boy. Okay, I also found a few skeins from a company called Dystopic Fiber, which I had never heard of, but apparently is a guy from Scotland. That's what I was told. They had 2 skeins of this really pretty teal and black colorway called Teal Woodcap, and it is a 75-25 superwash and nylon. And I just thought they were super pretty, so I can find something to do with that. Absolutely. Absolutely I can. And then from that same company, I found a couple different mohairs, since we know I'm on a mohair kick for some reason, even though I've proven to myself with my bright pink sweater that it's going to be way too warm for me to actually want to wear anything. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So this one is called Oyster Long, I think. We're gonna go with that. Oh, which way? Which way are we going? There we go. Which is a very pretty, like, olive brown rust color. And then Portobello, which is more of a reddish brown color. Tonal, variegated. And there were 2 of the Portobello and just 1 of the Oyster Long. We're gonna go with that. I don't really know for sure what that says, but we're gonna go with that. So I picked up some mohair for the mohair shelf, because why not? And then there were some really cool things that I've never seen anywhere else, never heard of it, didn't know it existed. This is by a company called Dando, made in Japan. This is 100% linen. And it is like a purple and silvery, like, chain ply. I don't know. I'm fascinated by this. I'm absolutely fascinated. It's 124 yards to 50 grams. So I would say that's probably like a DK weight, but it's chain plied. I don't know. I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated by this. And one of the things that I've been wanting to do this year is to make myself some more summery type garments. One of the ones that I really want to do is a tank top pattern called Summer Wheat, but also just trying to maybe do, like, you know, just a light sweatery shirt, kind of like maybe like a Tolsta tee or something similar to that, but do it out of a material that would be more summer friendly as opposed to wool or alpaca that is going to have a more limited window for when I can comfortably wear it in the state that I'm in. So I was really fascinated by this, and I picked up, I don't remember how many, as many as they had of this color, which is just called lavender. And I'm fascinated by this. I'm really, really intrigued by this, and I can't wait to try to decide on a pattern for this, because the construction of the yarn is so interesting. I mean, I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, if it will even focus, but it's like a chain. And it's just, I don't know, it's fascinating to me. It's really interesting. So was very excited to find this. This is the kind of thing that I love finding in local yarn stores. Things I've never heard of. I've never seen anything like it. It's completely foreign to me. I just eat this stuff up. I love it. So got some of that. And then from the same company, I picked up 2 different colors of what they call their cotton fine. This is 100% cotton. It's 435 yards to 50 grams, so definitely lace weight. But it really looks like raffia, like the kind of thing that you would get to tie up presents or to like tie gift tags on something. It's so interesting. It's not gonna focus because there we go. I need to hide. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. I do have a couple other yarns that are similar to this in the texture, but they are made of silk. They're not cotton. And this almost has like a raffia-like feel to it as well. So it's got that sort of stiff, almost like crunchy feeling to it. But I think they're so pretty. They're just so pretty. They don't have the shine of silk, but I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated. And because they're cotton, I think this could, again, be something, I mean, I could hold it double if I wanted to use it as fingering weight. I can maybe even hold one of each color together and do it like, you know, as a blend. I don't know. I got several of each color. I'm pretty sure I have an even amount of both colors. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it, but it was so interesting. I could not pass it up. And they had other colors, but I decided these 2 were the ones that I thought there was the most chance I would figure out something cool to do with. So I'm super, super intrigued by those. The other things that I picked up at Knitter's Hideout, I got some little pins because I love a cute pin. So I got this little one that says I knit past my bedtime, which I can't. There we go. Which way? There we go. I knit past my bedtime. And then I got this one, which is sort of one of my favorite sayings. I have a sticker on my car that says this. It says, knit fast, dye warm, which I just thought was super cute. And then the last thing that I got was this little stitch marker tin that has their Knitter's Hideout little logo on here. But this is actually a magnet. And in here are some lemon wood stitch markers. And there is another little magnet on the inside. And the idea is you have a magnet on each side of the lid, and then your stitch markers will stick to the inside of the lid, so they won't just fall all over the place. They'll stay inside, which is kind of cool. And then these are little lemon wood. There's some metal stitch markers, and then there are some little wooden dangle stitch markers. There's a little heart and a little flower and then a little star shape, which I just thought were super cute. So they did not have project bags or anything like that with the store logo. That is definitely something that I always ask about and always look for. I have a love of project bags, especially from shops that I've been to. I love a good project bag. So, but they did not have that, but they did have this, and I thought that was so cute, the little tin. So that was Knitter's Hideout. The other store that I visited was Coachella Valley Yarns, which was a bit of a drive, but I had all day and it was lovely. And I only picked up a couple of things from there, but what I got, I am really happy with. So they gave me this cute bag, organza bag, to hold my purchases, which was very sweet. So one of the things that I got was some hand spun, and it seems to have been slightly overspun, but I think just with blocking the yarn a little bit, it'll be fine. This is hand spun, hand dyed Wensleydale in this beautiful bluey purple color, which I am a big fan of. This is a great color as far as I'm concerned. It is, how would I describe that? It's not as pink as lilac. Yeah, I think actually like a lavender color would be good because it is a bluish purple. I have a light up here and I don't know if that is, let me move that. I don't know if it's altering the color of things. But anyway, they had several hanks of that, so I picked up several of those. So I do not know how much yardage this is. They're not labeled as far as weight. They're not labeled as far as yardage. They're just somebody spun them and they have them for sale. I do have a yardage counter, so I could figure that out. But I'm looking forward to using these for something. I'm not sure what I will use them for. They will go in a special bin that my stash has that is more like locally farmed and spun stuff from yarn stores. It's one of the things that I like to collect. Most of it is undyed, but I do have a couple other hanks that are also dyed other colors. So that's where those are going to live until I can figure out what I want to do with them. But I'm a big fan. Another thing that I picked up while I was there was this cute little cube bag that I just thought was adorable. Would be a great little bag, little zipper bag that has, it's on a keychain. Great for like stitch markers. I could fit a tape measure in there, darning needles. I could actually fit quite a lot of stuff in there. And this is from a company called, I think it's Maika. It's M-A-I-K-A. And it is a woman and minority owned brand in California. The name Maika means dancing flower because we believe that there is big joy in little things. Live each day delightfully. And I love it. They're original patterns, hand printed on recycled canvas with eco-friendly inks. And I just thought it was such a cute little cube bag with a little leather join for the key ring, little zipper. It's just big fan of little stuff like this. I love finding stuff like that. And then the last thing I got is from, again, kind of like the Noro that I picked up. It's a brand that you can get in lots of places. It is Mano Still Uruguay, and this is a gradient kit. This is actually lace weight yarn, but it is a set. It is a set of 3 colors that they've braided together. 3 skeins of lace weight. 874 yards each, 100% merino superwash, and this one is the Harvest Moon set. How flippin' gorgeous is that? I love it. I was so taken with these colors. Like, I couldn't walk out without it. I just thought, that is so pretty. The colors are so vibrant, but deep and rich. I don't know. I'm a big fan. I don't know what I'm going to do with this either. Don't know. But I will figure something out. So this is going to go with my other lace weights, which are in a bin over there. Not in the bookshelves behind me. But I do have a bin of lace weight. So that is where this is going to go. I don't know what these will become. I don't know if they will stay together, or if I will split them up. For now, I'm going to leave them like this because I think they're so pretty together. But yeah, that was one that I had to bring home as well. And they are Vesuvio, Filigree, and Appalachian are the 3 colors. And I don't know honestly which is which. I'm assuming Vesuvio is the red orange one. But Filigree and Appalachian, I don't know which would be the gold and which would be the more bluey, greeny, tealy one. I don't know, but I thought they were gorgeous. So that was the bag from Coachella Valley Yarns. So that was my little yarn adventure. And then if you have noticed, this is not stuck on. That was the other thing I did while I was in California. So it doesn't actually bother me. I think it was the adhesive, if I'm honest, on the little stick-on one that I had on last time, because this doesn't bother me. I don't even notice it. So what have I been up to since I got home from California? Well, the first thing that I did was get COVID. So that's why there's a lot more cuts in this episode than in the past episodes, because I have been coughing through this entire episode. But yeah, that's actually why this episode is about a week behind where I wanted it to be in terms of coming out, because I have been sick and not in a position to be recording. I am mostly recovered, but definitely still have a bit of the cough going on. But since that time, I had mentioned, I think, this whole, I had my entire first episode recorded and then I had to re-record it because I'd forgotten to turn my microphone on, has really messed with me, because there's things that I talked about the first time I recorded it that I don't remember if I talked about them when I re-recorded them. So there's things that I think I've mentioned that I may not have. So in case I didn't, or in case you haven't seen that episode, one of the projects that I wanted to do this year was I wanted to try different constructions of sweaters. I did a drop shoulder construction. The What the Fluff pullover is a drop shoulder construction. I don't think I had ever done that before. Most of the sweaters that I've done have either been yoked increases or raglan increases, and so I really kind of wanted to try out some different constructions. But there was another sweater pattern that I wanted to do by Amy Herzog, and it is called Small Point. This is what it looks like. And the construction on this is fascinating to me. I don't think I'm giving too much away by sharing this. It is a paid pattern, but this is one of the things, honestly, that made me really excited to do it. It is knit flat from the front edge to up and around and down to the back edge, and that it is seamed up the sides and down the arm. So this is kind of what it looks like. So this is the front edge. This is where you start and you knit up and you basically bind off stitches for a neck hole, and you add on stitches for your sleeves, and then you add the stitches back on at the back of the neck, and you decrease the stitches out, and then you do a little bit of waist shaping. And I'm fascinated by this construction. I've never seen another pattern that's done like this. And another thing, as I said, is I want to use some different types of materials. So let me actually grab a ball of each of the colors that I'm using so I can tell you exactly what they are. Okay, so these are the yarns that I am using. I got them on clearance at my local yarn store. They are Lang Yarns Kylie. And I don't know what colors they are because they're just numbers, but there's a gray and like a tealy blue. And they are they are 56% cotton, 25% silk, 13% wool, and 6% viscose. And the texture of the yarn is really interesting. It's kind of like if you sew and you know what rickrack looks like, where it's like sort of zigzagged. That's kind of how this yarn looks. I did do a couple of little gauge swatches to try to determine what needle size I needed. And the texture of the finished product is really cool. It's not super clean and neat, but it's pretty. It's really pretty, and the two go really well together. So before I show you this, let me remind you, I had COVID. So I basically had no brain for anything other than basic knitting. And this pattern is basic knitting. So here is my back edge. And here is my neck hole and my sleeves. And then that's where I am on the back. My needle is right there. So if I throw this over my head, and hopefully my needle will not come off, you'll kind of get an idea of how this is put together. So right now it kind of looks like a poncho, right? But here's the front, and we have the neck. And then the sleeves will get attached to each other, right? Obviously it's twisted and stuff right now, but there's the sleeve. And then I need to finish the back until it is the same length as the front, and then this will get seamed up. And I think it's gonna be super cute. I'm very excited. It's a really interesting construction. This is, oh, and I totally dropped stitches. Let me pick those up really quick. I will say this yarn does not unravel easily because of the texture of the yarn itself. It does sort of like to grip onto itself, so I haven't had any issues of dropping a stitch because I'm not really paying attention and having it run. That's been fine. But I think basically where I am right now, if I sort of hold it up evenly, let's just sort of fold it in half. Okay, so this is where I am right now. I just finished this blue. That's why it's not actually attached to a ball of yarn right now, is because I just finished this blue stripe. And if you look at the front side and how much I have left to go until it's finished, it's basically like another gray stripe, another blue stripe, another gray stripe, another blue stripe, and then I'm into the ribbing at the end, and then just a couple rows of the gray at the very bottom. So I started this 10 days ago, 11 days ago. It's basically all I've been working on because it's just flat stockinette. Knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. There is a little bit of body shaping on the back, so that will hopefully help give it a little bit more interest so that I get it finished, because I do want to have it finished. I'm really intrigued by how this fabric is going to do once I block it. I was naughty and I did not block my gauge swatches, but I don't think they're really gonna change size very much. I think it'll be pretty easy to keep it to the same dimensions. And what I did is I did this one using the recommended size for the pattern with the number of stitches and rows that the gauge swatch was supposed to be, and I was finding that it was coming out bigger than the gauge swatch was supposed to be. So I just did down a needle size and then measured this, and it was bang on the money, 4 inches. So it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's not going to stretch a whole lot. I'm not concerned about that. But I'm really happy with it. It is definitely unlike any other sweater I've ever made. But this sort of checks 2 boxes of being another new construction for me, but also being primarily cotton, which I don't have any of. I do not have any garments that I have made for myself, basically out of anything but some kind of wool, silk, or alpaca. That's pretty much been my comfort zone. And obviously, you know, wool mixed with nylon and things like that, but not primarily a different type of fiber. So I'm excited about that. So I have a feeling that I will be able to get this one done before we speak again. And yeah, we can hopefully I will be right that it's not going to grow a whole lot with blocking, and it will fit well, and I can be wearing this one next time. So that is a goal. All right, I do want to talk about one more acquisition. Let me grab it. This has been sitting in that basket right there. Ooh, which way? Where? That one, right? That one. This basket right there. For weeks. I have not opened it. As you can see, unopened. I have been dying to open this package. Let me tell you a little backstory. I decided at some point last year that I wanted to try making something that would just be fun and that would be not exactly like a stitch sampler, but something that would use a bunch of different stitches and different colors, and that would just be fun to knit, whether or not I would actually ever wear it. It wasn't the point. I wanted a fun knit. And I stumbled across a mystery knit along that wasn't a mystery anymore because it was older. And it was called Who You Gonna Shawl? And it was a Ghostbusters mystery knit along by Lyrical Knits, who is Mary Annarella, is that right? I think that's her name. She goes by Lyrical Knits. She's done a lot of really cute patterns. The Killer Queen cowl, which was very, very popular. She did that one. She's done a mystery knit along called The Knights Who Say Knit. That is a Monty Python reference. She has done a Princess Bride mystery knit along, and she did this Ghostbusters one. And I picked some colors. Now this is not blocked and all my ends aren't woven in, so Scandal, clutch your pearls. Moving on. Okay. But this is Who You Gonna Shawl? And I am not exaggerating when I say that this was one of, if not the most fun projects that I have ever done. Ever. The pattern was so well written, so engaging. There were tutorials for some of the stitches that were maybe a little bit confusing or a little bit more complicated. And I mean, the references, the Ghostbusters references in this, which of course, Who You Gonna Shawl is Who You Gonna Call, you know, it's a Ghostbusters thing. But the references were amazing. There's stitches in here called Don't Cross the Streams, and then there's another stitch which is very similar, but it's called Cross the Streams. And I mean, just, it was so much fun. I couldn't put it down. I was actually glad that I hadn't done it as a mystery knit along, because that means I didn't have to wait for clues. But I mean, so much fun. I do not remember off the top of my head what yarns I used for this. They were not Wool of Bat yarns. They were not my own. But yeah, so much fun. Just, I mean, incredible pattern. And I really want to do the Knights Who Say Knit, and I really want to do Inconceivable, which is the Princess Bride one. And this one was 4 colors, as you can tell. Some of the other ones are different numbers of colors. And I was about ready to, I'm in a place where, again, I want that fun knit, because I've been doing a lot of stockinette, plain, boring. I love the finished product, the happy little V's. I love them, but sometimes you just want a knit that you can sort of just sink your teeth into and just enjoy the process, and you get different textures and color combinations and all the rest of it. And then, so I was trying to decide if I wanted to do the Knights Who Say Knit or if I wanted to do Inconceivable. And then I saw a new mystery knit along from Lyrical Knits. The Muppet Shawl. I love the Muppets. I have distinct memories from when I was a very small child of being put to bed and my mom and dad going down the hall to the living room and turning on the Muppet Show, and I would crawl out of bed and I would sneak down the hall and I would lie on the floor in the hall, because if I was in just the right spot, I could see between the chair and the sofa to see the TV, to watch the Muppet Show, and then when it was getting to the end, getting up and sneaking back to bed. My all-time favorite Muppet is Rolf the dog. There are easily 20 in line for second place. But I saw that and I thought, okay, first of all, the Ghostbusters shawl, the most fun, most engaging knit I think I've ever done. And then this one is Muppets. So yeah, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do it as a mystery knit along. I'm not gonna cheat. I'm not gonna, not gonna look at things ahead of time. I'm gonna let myself be surprised by the mystery. And as with many mystery knit alongs, there are yarn dyers who have dyed collections of yarn specifically designed for this pattern. I really wanted to record this before the start date of March 1st. The day I'm recording this, it is actually a few days into March, and I haven't started this because I haven't opened my package yet, because I was waiting to do it until we spoke, and it's been killing me. So I am going to have to devote some time to this, because I do have it printed out. There's no spoilers, but I do have Clue 1 printed out and ready. But one of the dyers was Miss Babs, and I ordered one of the sets. It was hard for me to decide which one I wanted, but my favorite Muppet is Rolf the dog. As I said, there are several in line for second place. But one of my other very top tiers is animal. And they had, I think, 8 or 9. Sorry, I'm just unwrapping this and I'm so excited. I'm so excited to unwrap this. And it's all wrapped up in tissue paper so I can't see it. They had 8 or 9 different colorways that you could choose from. And the colorways are 2 full-size skeins and then 6 like 35-gram mini skeins. And there was one, they had one called Rainbow Connection, which was a lovely gray and then 6 rainbow colors. They had one called Electric Mayhem, which I seriously thought about. There was one called Phenomena, which if you're not a Muppet person and you don't understand these references, that's okay. Just go with me or skip ahead a little bit. One called Phenomena. But they had one called Beat Drums. And finally, that was the one that I just had to go with. So it is in here. I am so excited to open this. You don't even know how long I have been waiting to open this. I'm so excited. So here is my main color. This deep gray. It's Pewter is the color. And then here are my animal colors. Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at how fun that is. And it's in plastic. It's called the Muppet Shawl Set. Beat Drums with Pewter. And this is Yellow Amber, Whitsunday, Sugar Maple No. 3, Bullfinch, Glowing Lantern, and Turkey Red. That's the colorways for each of the colors. But look at the, I have to take these out of here. Because for one thing, I have to wind them all up so I can start working on this tonight as soon as I'm done. But these colors are just, oh my gosh. It's so animal and I love it so much. I can get all of these guys out of here. Let me see if I can hold these up somehow. How can I do this? Do I have a... Here, let me do this. I've seen other people do this to show off like mini skeins. So we're gonna try to do what the cool kids do so that we can do this. Oh my gosh, this is so pretty. I am so excited. Okay, and we'll put one of these on each end. And we can see, here we are. Beat Drums. Look at that. Look at those colors. Oh my gosh. That is going to be so much fun to knit. I am so excited. I think I have these two backwards. This is going to be so much fun. I really wanted to get this recorded early enough that if you watched it and you saw it and you wanted to do it along with me, you had time to get your stuff put together. And I'm sorry that I didn't, but then again, it's on YouTube, so it'll be there forever, and the mystery knit along is only going to happen for so long. But look at these little guys, these little cuties. Oh my gosh. I am so excited about this. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. So these are going to get wound up pretty much immediately so that I can go and start working on my Muppet shawl. As soon as I saw that, I was like, yes, done. And then I had to decide what colors. And that took a couple of weeks to make a decision. And now that I have it and I've opened it and I can see how in love with it I'm going to be, I'm even that much more excited. And then Miss Babs also sent a little welcome card for my first Miss Babs purchase. It isn't actually, but okay. With some cute little stitch markers. And then a little tiny 10-yard sample of Tarte fingering weight yarn. That's always cool. I love a couple little extras. So that is my Muppet shawl. And I will be sure when I share progress on this, at least while the mystery part of the mystery knit along is going on, which is all through March, that I let you know that there are potentially spoilers in case you are also a Muppet obsessed knitter and you are going to be doing this and you don't want spoilers. But so excited. So excited. Okay, so our last project for today. Nope, this side. This bad boy. Let's get it frogged. So, through the magic of editing, that process that in reality took about 48 minutes only took a minute or two to turn an entire sweater that I had made into balls of yarn again, so that I can hopefully make something else that I will be happy with the fit. And I love the yarn. This is my Wool of Bat worsted in my Halloween 2023 colorway. Gray with little speckles of teal and purple and lime green, and I love the yarn, but I was so unhappy with the sweater that I knew I wasn't going to wear it, and so it's not a sweater anymore. It's balls of yarn. There's a whole bunch of balls of yarn right up there. So I will have to decide now if I want to do the same sweater pattern and just do it 2 or 3 sizes smaller, or if I want to do a different pattern entirely. I think I might do the same pattern again. I'm not sure. I liked the idea of the sweater. It just turned out way too huge. So that is finally frogged. In case you were curious about the little tool I was using, it is a little super tiny little crochet hook. You can hardly see the little hook on the end of that. It's a 1mm crochet hook. I used to use it for beading before I got hooked on beading and got better tools for that. But yeah, just working in getting the little woven in ends pulled back out and getting it in the middles of knots and loosening up the knots so I could get it all untied. But yeah, so that is my Easy V sweater that isn't a sweater anymore. So we will see when it becomes what it becomes next. But yeah, it's all frogged. So on that note, while I have my ball winder all ready and it's going, I am gonna go get these little babies wound up, whoop, so that I can get started on my Muppet shawl. If you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, feel free to leave comments. What other things would you like to see me talk about? What are you curious about? I'm happy to talk about anything knitty fiber that you want to know about. I'm happy to share. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, do all the things, tell your friends. She told 2 friends and she told 2 friends. Sorry, I'm showing my age. Actually, that was a little before my time, but regardless, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching, and keep making magic with sticks and string. Bye.